And we start tonight with breaking news here at 5. Right now, Louisville Metro Police are investigating a deadly shooting in the Algonquin neighborhood. Hello, everybody. I'm Connie Leonard.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. It happened just about 2:30 this afternoon, right outside a convenience store there. Police say they're still determining if the male victim is a teenager or a young adult. WHAS11's Travis Breeze has been on the scene right after it happened as the investigation's been underway. Travis, what are you hearing from people in the area or from police tonight?
Doug and Connie, it happened in front of this JJ Food Mart here on Dixie Highway. We are a few blocks north of Algonquin Parkway right now. Police say the victim had just been inside that store and the shooting happened on the sidewalk directly in front of it. They weren't able to say if the shooter was potentially waiting outside for the victim or how exactly the shooting may have occurred. Dixie Highway has been closed since this shooting happened. There have been dozens of people here watching as police have worked this scene, many of them crying and screaming for the victim. According to data from the Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, homicides are up 12% today compared to this time last year, currently sitting at 111 for the year. That does not include this incident today. Head of the 2nd Division, Major Russell Miller, says LMPD is policing this city the right way, and everyone is frustrated with these numbers.
I can tell you from my point and from just about everybody that works here, I am sick of it. The officers are sick of it. Our command staff is sick of it. The citizens in this community are sick of it. The mayor's office and the support that we have there, everyone wants this to stop.
There are no suspects at this time, and Major Miller stressed the importance of people coming forward with any piece of information they might have. And this scene has just started to break down probably within about the last 20 minutes. So we do expect that Dixie Highway will reopen probably sometime within the next hour. Reporting live in Louisville, Travis Breeze with photojournalist Aspen Hester, WHAS11 on your side.
Travis, thank you very much. Now a follow-up to one of the top stories you've heard all week. Police in Jeffersonville tonight confirming a fake school shooting threat is right at the center of their arrest of a middle schooler. And they say more arrests could be on the way.
Authorities are sending a message after charging students across Kentuckiana, saying their social media posts stoked fear in communities. Now here's a map showing incidents spread out over the last week. In Elizabethtown, Kentucky, police charged 3 kids for fake school threats there. Over in Marion County, state troopers arrested a 16-year-old for allegedly threatening a high school with gun violence.
And in Jeffersonville, Indiana, authorities charging now a 12-year-old with felony intimidation. That's where we find Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton. They're told more arrests could be on the way.
Well, we know about the students involved here, but Police Chief Kenny Kavanaugh tells me they're also investigating the adults who shared some of those social media posts instead of reporting them to authorities. He tells me all this did was stoke fear in the public. Despite social media, what is your expectations out of you with your relationship with your child and your child not hurting someone else or hurting society? A 12-year-old student is charged with felony intimidation, and police have already submitted evidence to arrest another. They're accused of posting fake school shooting threats on social media, sending River Valley Middle and Parkview Middle schools scrambling. We have to conclude that there is not a juvenile access to have weapons. In this case, there wasn't. In these cases, that there is not. Jeffersonville Police Chief Kenny Kavanaugh says his team, along with help from the FBI, continue to pour more resources into assessing potential danger at schools. Just over a week removed from the Georgia school shooting that rocked the country, children in Kentucky are also in custody for making fake threats. Former Oldham County School Superintendent Greg Schultz believes the key will be getting to the root cause. That child needs some intense counseling and needs to figure out why they even did that from the first spot. Chief Kavanaugh tells me his detectives knew early on there were no credible threats at either of the middle schools, but says ultimately they weren't taking any chances. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 on your side.
The Clark County prosecutor in southern Indiana is reviewing evidence in the second student's case in Jeffersonville and will decide whether to pursue charges in that case. An update for you as Kentucky State Police say they're now pushing deeper right into the Daniel Boone National Forest in southeastern Kentucky in the search for the man they say shot several people driving on I-75 last Saturday.
The announcement comes as the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says it's reopened exit 49 on I-75. Now, that's close to where police say the suspected gunman shot at 9 vehicles on I-75, injuring 5 people. According to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, all 5 are expected to survive. KSP says it will continue to have patrols near the exit as the search goes on. And 32-year-old Joseph Couch is the man KSP says is responsible for that shooting. They've been looking for him for 7 days now, saying he's hiding in the Daniel Boone National Forest. Police are offering a $35,000 reward for anyone with information that can lead to Couch's capture and arrest. Again, people are urged to stay away from the area still as that manhunt goes on. Anyone with information that could be of help to police is urged to call Laurel County at the number on your screen. That's 606-878-7000.
Happening today, Tamika Palmer, the mother of Breonna Taylor, was in Washington, D.C., along with the families of Tyree Nichols and Sonia Massey, joining the Congressional Black Caucus to speak about criminal justice reform. Representative Steve Horsford, the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, said today that the caucus is continuing its work to advance legislation to hold police officers more accountable. Palmer spoke today, saying all that the families want is justice.
I don't know how to talk about her in the past because she's inside of me. Yes. She's a part of me. And this thing is killing me. All we all want is justice. And of course we want this bill passed. Of course we want to ban no-knock warrants and chokeholds and dying in front of cameras as if we don't matter.
The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act was a police reform bill first introduced in 2021. It included bans on no-knock warrants in federal drug cases and required body cameras in almost all instances. That bill failed in the Senate back in 2021, but was reintroduced this year by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas. We learned today the former director of Metro Louisville Youth Transitional Services has now been indicted.
The indictment follows an investigation by LMPD's Public Integrity Unit, meaning not a lot of information has been revealed. Now, here's what we do know. Tony Rice has been indicted on 8 counts in connection to a car crash with her Metro-issued vehicle back in July. She resigned from her position last month. She's charged with criminal mischief as well as tampering with physical evidence and official misconduct. She's pleaded not guilty to the charges and posted a $5,000 bond today. Rice is due back in court Monday. Mayor Craig Greenberg responded to the charges saying, quote, Ms. Rice is no longer employed by Louisville Metro government. We have no tolerance for this type of misconduct, and we appreciate LMPD's hard work to conduct a thorough investigation into this matter.
Authorities in Jeffersonville are investigating what caused the fire to a house that's been standing for more than a century. According to the Jeffersonville Fire Department, crews responded to the home on Riverside Drive at about 10:30 this morning. The crews arrived within 2 minutes and found the 3rd floor of the home on fire. Officials say they quickly extinguished the blaze, saving the house. No injuries were reported.
Well, you were glad to see the sun come out.
You know, Connie, it's strange. I was glad first to say bye-bye, Francine. I hope that is still accurate tonight, but it's coming into downtown this afternoon. The sun was out, shining on the side of the buildings, and guess who brought it? It's Matt Rudkin.
Oh, that's how it got here.
He is filling in for Ben tonight, and Matt, we are so glad to see you. Are you saying bye-bye to Francine, too?
Yeah, and I'm glad to help some of the farmers with the drought around the region, so I will take credit for this, because usually in the weather department, we take credit for everything else, right? The ice, the snow, the flooding. So yeah, we'll enjoy this. Ben had a part in it as well. Here's a look at Max HD radar. Sweeping all clear for the most part across the region. You'll note there's a few showers basically between Louisville and Cincinnati, seeing the majority of that. So a couple showers here and there will be the theme across the region. There's a closer look. You can see it pushing to the north, but also kind of fizzling out as it does. A few stronger rain showers. Still no lightning. I guess there is a little bolt near Bowling Green, but this will be the theme here over the next couple of hours. Just some spotty hit and miss showers and thunderstorms. Most of that is to our south between basically between like E-Town and the Tennessee line. So to our south, there's the remnants of what was the hurricane, but closer to home. Again, if you've got Friday evening plans, that looks pretty good. We've seen spotty peaks of sunshine. There's a look outside. You see a little bit of breeze there from the east, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles an hour. At the airport, it's around 10. And the temperature's 77, not too bad. We'll take a look at the weekend. If you've got outdoor plans, I think you'll like the forecast that's coming your way in about 10 minutes.
Matt, thank you very much. Right now, we continue to follow the proposed expansion of a new Lou bourbon distillery. After a community petition blocked their plans, Rabbit Hole Distillery was looking to rezone their property for their redesign that would help their truck delivery situation.
Now, they own an entire block on Jefferson Street and want to demolish 2 older buildings in that block, but neighbors filed a petition that would consider them historical landmarks. Jose Alonso has been following this story really since the beginning, and tell us what happened at that meeting today.
Yeah, Connie, Doug, there's a lot of conversations taking place there, and what we're able to learn is that I heard flaws being pointed out about the petition from Rabbit Hole's attorney and a plea from the petition's creator to consider every element on potentially bringing this process to the entire Historical Landmarks and Preservation District's commission. In the end, their subcommittee did not feel comfortable shooting the petition down. History and rapid expansion at odds with each other in the fast-growing New Lou neighborhood.
These properties and the structures they're on have zero to do with one another. Nothing.
At this Metro Department of Planning and Design meeting, the attorney for Rabbit Hole Distillery, John Baker, addressed the Metro Historical Landmarks Commission subcommittee in this technical review. The frustration could be seen on his face. He claims there are flaws in the neighborhood petition.
It's our position that the letter of the law here as set forth in this ordinance needs to be followed to meet that threshold in order to authorize the Landmarks Commission to wield that extraordinary power.
Baker says some signatures on the petition are not residents living within the 1-mile radius the ordinance requires.
Total verified of 219 is where we stopped it. It's because we had voicemails hanging over, and we had set an internal policy that if we called everyone once and left a voicemail or didn't call, like we would call them back a second time. So we said that we would touch everyone at least 2 times.
Kevin Doan, who's fighting the demolition of historic properties, is the petition's author. He says some people do live next to the distillery, but they may also own and live on property elsewhere.
Remember, in every aspect of your decisions today, the intent of this law, the intent of this petition process, it is simply to save historic treasures from demolition if sufficient support exists.
Members of the technical review say they are not convinced this is a strong landmark case.
I do feel it's a good case for the Landmarks Commission. I think Mr. Baker's made some very strong arguments that need to be considered. I'm not totally comfortable with the 3 of us kind of
Saying no, we're saying
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, Jose, from watching that, I think people can see why they don't feel comfortable going forward if there is a question about the signatures, like people don't live there that signed, or some own property, but some don't own property, possibly.
Exactly, and the petition's author, he addressed that as well. I mean, he was saying that people own multiple properties, but can still say they live in Louisville. I mean, one of the prime examples was somebody had a Kentucky ID, but also has residence in Brooklyn.
Okay.
This is focused on 2 properties,
Yes.
but in one of your early reporting, you showed an amazing one of the original German churches left in Louisville, there in New Lou. Is that still a target of this? Is that in jeopardy in any way?
From what I was hearing from the property owner, she says, yes, it's not a part of the demolition process with Rabbit Hole, but it's across the street from it. So she was saying the demolition and also the 18-wheelers and their new route with this redesign could potentially impact her building across the street because it's laid out on clay foundation.
With the old foundations.
Exactly.
Right.
But of
Jose
course,
Alonso.
yeah, these commissioners are going to take this to the commission, and that's going to be over on October 17th, where they could possibly make a vote.
Okay.
Okay, I know you'll be following it.
Yeah.
Good job staying on top of it.
Thanks.